Hello. I was not planning on recording tonight, but I am currently moving locations quite often, and I just got to a new space today with a beautiful yard, and I came outside and I heard an ambulance go by and I looked at the clock, and it was when I started recording this all just happened like right now and it was 911 on the clock as the ambulance went by, and I tuned in really quickly and just asked. I don't always say my process, but I'm just guided to do this, so I will. And I asked if there's a message that wants to come through. And as soon as I asked, a gust of wind came in, and a bunch of noise with these leaves started to rustle. And I'm outside, by the way, so if you hear some wind, that's why. You can kind of just utilize it through the reading as any sort of confirmation that perhaps you are experiencing in the moment. And I'm sitting in front of a pool, and above the pool is this canopy thing, I guess, to keep out rain and other things. And that started to shake so intensely when I asked that question. And then my right thumb started to buzz. And for me, that's the masculine aspect of Kundalini energy, or the fire element. I meant to say the fire element, so Kundalini energy may be relevant at the moment. Ooh, and I just honestly got so hot. I mean, I am sitting outside, but it's beautiful out, and I was completely fine temperature-wise. It's not it's not because of my imbalanced temperature. I could feel all of a sudden when I said that, my whole body just warmed up. I feel like I'm almost the feeling of when you first, if you've ever been in a sauna and you can feel that shift, when it's really cool and then the heat really starts to kick on. It's your whole body just warms up. Or if you have a sip of wine or something and your body just warms up. It's funny because I am having a little bit of wine. I don't know why I'm saying that, but but it's not because of that. I know that sounds counterintuitive, or counterproductive. Anyway, those are not the phrases I meant to say. So I feel things that okay, one second. So I'm hearing the words flow state and getting into a flow state, and then the mental plane kind of interrupting a little bit. So someone here may be just starting to experience that more consciously, or maybe you've been for a while. And one thing I've noticed is no matter how long you have been consciously entering flow states, at least in my experience, I mean, I know that, if you're someone listening to this and you don't have that experience, please let me know. But every once in a while, it's we still have these moments of it feels like something's being interrupted, or we have an overactive mental plane or mind. And so I feel that in itself is a message. I've noticed the last few days there's been a collective energy of headaches, actually. So if anyone here is experiencing, especially if you don't get headaches often, and you've noticed you've gotten headaches in the last I'm hearing 2 to 3 days, or really even 2 to 3 weeks, there's some sort of energetic cycle. I'm hearing solar flares could be a part of that. I know they're really ramping up right now. A lot of people are talking about that in some of these energetic circles, if you will. So there's something about, and I feel I'm speaking really quickly, so there is something that I feel is kind of about to push through. So if you've been having these feelings, like I said, of a lot of disruptions, headaches, feeling, I don't know if you can hear, but there's something, someone's air conditioner I'm outside, like, just went on. Like, something's about to, like, pop in or speed up or pop through here. And I'm hearing less thinking, more doing. That's a topic, honestly, for myself right now that I'm experiencing. So if you've come across this, I'm hearing air element. So however you connect to the air element, I'm seeing sylphs, actually, which I believe is a term that was coined by Nostradamus. So Nostradamus could be relevant, but I have to fact check. I don't remember. I feel like he was maybe around the 1500s. If you're listening to this and I'm so off, please, you can laugh at me. I'm not sure. But if anyone's listening to this, you can feel free to drop a comment about that to correct me, because I'm probably way off. Anyway, Nostradamus. Yeah, so what did he do? Prophetic things, or many other things. Yeah, there's something about, I'm hearing the word visionary, and I'm staring into this pool, and all of these lights around are reflected, and I can see them like twinkling, but they look so still, and there's something rippling over that. Okay, so give me a second to get the right wording for this. So it feels like, I may have mentioned this in another audio. I honestly, I'm not sure. But if I have, and you've heard it, then this is like double confirmation. You may be seeing or feeling, yes, but especially seeing, like, I don't really want to use the word glitch, but that's the word that's coming to mind, where you look at, or you may have been experiencing this for a long time, or maybe it's ramping up, or maybe it used to happen a lot and then it stopped and now it's starting again, or it's about to, there could be multiple scenarios here, but there's something about like the ripple. It's like you look in, let's say you just like look at a tree, and you see this like almost like it's clear, but you can see it like rippling energy, like things look, it's like it's still, but then you see like an energetic ripple shift over it. I want to say psychically, but it's like your eyes are open. So if that's something you've been experiencing, or like I said, we're about to experience, I'm hearing, just take this as confirmation, and there's going to be some sort of deepening of like the tempering of that. So let me sit with that for a moment. I don't know, I just heard surprise and then sorpresa, which I believe is surprise in Italian. So there may be a surprise element to how this tempers out for you. It will be different for every person, if anyone ever listens to this. And so there's like this, I just noticed the moon, and we had a new moon a few days ago. And there's like this golden, it looks like quite golden, but like kind of fuzzy, honestly. Like when you look at it, the moon looks like it has like a haze over it. So, I'm hearing the word film, like filmy. So I feel like there are things you've been seeing with that type of, that type of vision, but there's about to be some sort of illumination. And I'm hearing, but it was by design, because I could hear someone saying like, I thought I was seeing so clearly. It's like, it's kind of a paradox. It's like you were seeing clearly, but there's about to be this like elevation into the next level of illumination. So I'm hearing like, try not to like beat yourself up. It's like things are kind of like unraveling via these different like initiations we've been going through. And so it doesn't feel like why were you not seeing it this way? No, like this was the way it's been unfolding for you. But it's like, it's kind of like someone who, this is a weird analogy, I think, but goes through life like kind of seeing things a little bit fuzzy, and they don't realize that maybe they need a prescription, and then they get a prescription and they're like, oh my God, everything is so clear. And it's like they were navigating life fine and they didn't do anything wrong. It's just like they just didn't know. That might not be the best analogy, but that's kind of what I'm being shown. Okay, now I'm noticing again a lot of lights or around me. Oh, and the air conditioning just went on, so if it's really loud, I apologize. And I often will scry with lights around me, so if you're familiar with scrying, maybe you do this too, or maybe this is something you will be stepping into. If not, like, just let it go. But the lights around me, I keep seeing these like rays coming off of them, of like, I'm hearing the heliotalic rainbow spectrum. So it's like, heliotalic is essentially a fancy word. My left palm also just lit up, and for me that's usually a yes. So if someone had a question, I'm hearing yes. And there's also something about ceremonial spaces. So if you've been thinking about like deepening that practice or starting, you know, everyone will be somewhere different. So if it's personal for you, just to start, I'm hearing yes. If it's like the next step of maybe like doing it with a friend, you know, if you're someone who's already well established and you're thinking about expanding, like it doesn't really matter where you are. It's just for each person, whatever that next level is. I'm just hearing yes. The Druids could be relevant. That was coming through. I listened to someone else's reading who was really wonderful, and that just reminded me. So back to the scrying and the heliotalic spectrum, which again is just like a fancy word for saying like the more pastel rainbow light spectrum. I always think of like the ethereal template of, you know, we think about like the rainbow we see in the primary colors, and then that ethereal aspect is like the pastel, for me anyway. And so someone here might be like, I'm hearing auric key codes, so maybe you've just done some sort of like retrieval. Maybe it was conscious, maybe it was in dream time, maybe it wasn't as conscious, but yeah, there's like a bird all of a sudden that's flocking, so maybe you can hear the bird in the background as confirmation. But if you have been or feeling called to like retrieve these auric key codes, and if you don't know what that means, I know it sounds, when I say the word auric, it sounds the word A-U-R-I-C, auric. It's kind of like this I'm hearing like crystalline liquid light expansion. So again, if you don't know what that means, but if that like phrase makes you feel excited, I do have other content on here that talks about it, but there's also like wonderful other people talking about it if that's something you want to learn more about. And, you know, also deepening your own connection, like maybe you're being called to just first go within and see what you get, and then, you know, confirm externally. Again, each of you will be in a different place. Let me see, there's something else coming in. I was talking about scrying and the light. Okay, I'm being reminded of something. So I turned on a lamp tonight that, again, I'm in a new space. So this could be relevant for someone. Maybe someone else is in a new space, or maybe you're thinking about moving. I'm hearing on the move. Maybe this is for someone who is also a little bit more of a nomadic experience right now. And if not, you know, it could be just, I'm hearing internally. So maybe like your internal aspects right now are really shifting. I'm also hearing internal family systems, which I know is a branch of psychology. So maybe someone here has been like diving into that, or is connected to psychology in some way, like the branch of psychology. Anyway, there's this like, again, movement that's happening, and I heard just to take a pause, so I'm going to honor that. Maybe someone here needs to take a breath. If so, just breathe in. I'm hearing hold it and pull in your navel towards your spine, and just keep holding it, and then just like I don't know why, but in case anyone has been seeing like repeating synchronicities of like balloons of any kind, fireworks, and twinkling lights, that could be something leading back to the lamp. So in the space, I was trying to find like a dim light source, and I saw this thing in the living room that looked really cool, and I was like, I wonder if this is a light. So I like clicked on something, and it was a lamp, but it was hard to tell. And like when it was off, it could have been just like some sort of art decoration or something. Anyway, so I turned it on, and it's like it went on fine, and then I turned around, and when I look at light, I see like symbols come off, like light language. So maybe someone here experiences that, or maybe you're about to step into your own perception of what we call light language. And as the light went on, it was fine, and then I actually turned around and I saw like symbols like dart past me, and I was like, what? And I saw like something flashing, and I turned around and the lamp was like flashing so intensely. Now, like, I don't live here, so maybe that happens all the time, I don't know, but I still saw these symbols come off. And when I like turned around to look at it, and I saw the number 86, like, I don't know, I don't know how else to explain it. I just, like, when I looked into it, I saw like clear as day the number 86. So you can look up spiritual number. I don't usually say that. Spiritual number 86 or angel number 86. I'm also hearing, like, if you ever worked in a restaurant or know someone who did, they would say like 86 an item. So there's multiple messages here. Like I said, anyone can feel free to share in the comments what they receive about this number, but I saw it so clearly. 86, yeah. So there may be something in your life. Maybe some of you work at a restaurant and you're like, you know, am I ready to leave? You know, like 86 in your restaurant career. That's like very specific, so only take that if that's for you. I don't know if you can hear that animal in the background, but it's pretty loud. I'm honestly not sure what it is. It kind of sounds like a bird and a cat mix. So like feline and avian lineages, if you're into like more of some of the stellar galactic frequencies, could be coming through. And oh yeah, I just got really hot in my throat. I'm hearing they're working with you to like open up. So for some of you, it's opening up your throat, and some of you, it's like grounding in your authentic expression. So it could be like, I'm hearing the word flighty. Like sometimes you speak and stuff, but you don't feel like you can like ground in what you need to express. And some of you, it's the opposite. Like you hold it and you need to get it out. So yeah. Let's see. Back to the flickering lamp. There were these like, it lasted like a good amount of seconds. And the last time I had this experience, it wasn't exactly the same. This was like a couple years ago. I don't know why I'm being guided to share this, but I'll just go with it. So I honestly just spilled my drink on myself. So maybe some of you here, sometimes are a little bit clumsy. And you're like, I'm hearing the word graceful. And you think that makes you not graceful, but I'm hearing that's not necessarily true. It's a very small side note. Okay, so anyway, now I'm hearing stain remover because I'm drinking something red and I'm wearing white. So maybe someone here just stained themselves, like, or stained their clothes. Again, this is just like another confirmation. And they're looking for like a stain remover, or maybe you found a really good stain remover. I don't know. If someone here is listening and someone needs advice on stain removers, someone can like share that in the comments. That's not my forte, but yeah, YouTube is great for that. Anyway, so, oh, did you hear that? Now that air conditioner went off in the background. So, this is really big throwback, but I heard the song in my head. I think the band's name is 5, so the number 5 could be relevant, which is funny because 86, if you add 8 and 6, 8, I believe 14, and then that reduces to a 5. So thank you for the reminder. Yeah, so any of those numbers could also be relevant. 14, 5 is all about like significant changes usually, but there can be other meanings. Take it how it applies to you. Maybe you're like interested in life paths right now. The number is life path 5. It doesn't even mean you have to be at life path 5, but maybe there's a message like in the life path 5 explanation of whatever you look up. Let me see what else. Yeah, okay, so back to the story about the light. So I was doing a meditation from one of my old mentors. Again, this was like years ago. And not years, like maybe 3 or 4. And Wow. Actually, I'm really not great with linear time. I'm not sure how long ago it was. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I went into this, it was like a guided, I call them astral journeys. I also do these as well, and I've been thinking about doing one for YouTube, so if anyone's interested, please comment. Anyway, so so it was a Palladian Mother Mary astral journey, and oh my god, now that I'm thinking about it, it was like a voice activation, at least for me. I don't know if that was like the theme, I can't remember, but it was like a new moon for new earth is what my old mentor used to call. I'm sure she still does them, I don't know, but she's amazing. And if you've listened to, if you know that phrase, then you probably are connected to her, or have worked with her. Anyway, so I was going through, my eyes were closed, I was on the couch, and I remember this must be like some sort of light language activation, because I remember it was like one of the times where I like was letting light language come through my throat, like more in, I don't want to say singing, but it was like, normally when I do it, I'm like clearly just speaking, and this was like a little bit more like toning along those lines. So maybe someone here is going through that, and I was talking about a throat opening or activation. Give me a second. Anyway, so we went through that journey, or whatever word you want to call it, and I remember, like, as it was happening, I was laying on my couch at the time, and I was laying flat on my spine, like on my back, so my spine was straight, and I remember my throat just opened up, and it just like came out of me, and I was like, and I was talking about in the beginning of this, like interrupting with your mind, like, oh, what am I doing here, or why am I doing this, or like kind of interrupting the flow. I love how this is like already coming full circle. So as I like woke more into like a conscious state, I remember I was like, what am I doing? But I just kind of like let it come through. And right when we came back, I had this lamp I was in my living room. I don't live there anymore, but I had a condo at the time in Philadelphia, and it's weird that I said Philadelphia. I always call it Philly. But I was laying on my back, and when I opened, oh no, you know what? I was on the floor. I'm mistaken. I was on the floor, I remember, because I had this like white furry rug. So maybe someone here has one of those. Oh, I love that rug so much. And I meditated it. Why can't I say that word right now? Meditated on it all the time. So when I opened my eyes, my lamp, I remember it so clearly. It was a gold floor lamp. So it was like pretty tall. I'm like 5'1", 5'1.5". And I believe it was like around my height-ish. It looked like, it was like 3 golden, I don't know, rods kind of all like intersecting, making like, yeah, so it was just like 3 golden sticks, and then they met in the middle, and then they went like branched out at the top. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. Anyway, so like this never happened before, and it was off, like the lamp was off for sure. And as soon as I opened my eyes from that experience, the light went on by itself, and it had like no feature that would be automatic. Like there was zero, like it was just pure magic. It just went on. I mean, we always call magic what we don't know, which links me to my next. So I had like messages I've been getting all day, like little messages I've been just like making notes of that I was going to record tomorrow. But instead I'm doing it now. And one of them was, and I think I talked about this in my last audio actually, that electronics, like you might be getting messages through electronics. I don't know if you can hear that, what sounds like a bird again, the bird cat. So yeah, lights, especially lights. When I recorded yesterday or the day before, it was more like electronics, like phone and computer. This is more like specifically through lights. But again, take it, as it goes for you. I'm hearing "don't be alarmed." I don't know why, I heard it in a British accent. Or I actually read the other day that saying British is incorrect, so my apologies. An English accent. Okay, let me see where else this is going. I paused on the timer and I saw the numbers 771. So 1s and 7s, 177, 771 could be relevant. And I just paused, as I said. So I saw a few things I wrote down, and one of them was ambulance, which I think I mentioned. There was an ambulance an ambulance in the background when I pushed record. And just as a side note, I always send love to ambulances, so if I sometimes don't mention that, I'm always doing that. Just in case it seems like I'm being inconsiderate of the ambulance experience. I'm not, I promise. Let's see what else is going on. I just looked up and saw a plane. So someone here might be traveling soon or thinking about traveling. I'm hearing the word illumination, and also the word homesteading has been coming up a lot, and I had written that down as well. So someone here might be homesteading, meaning like thinking about it, already doing it, starting it, interested in the topic. So, whoa. I just like felt like there was like a huge like break in silence in the energy. And I just heard in my head about faith. So I think there's something that, again, this new thing that's coming to light. So wherever phase that you're at, I'm hearing just like hold steady for a moment and keep doing what you're doing now with it. Again, this is very specific with homesteading. So if that's something you're interested in, like, I think there's going to be like a next step revealed in that. But for now, just like, and it won't take too long, I'm hearing, but just keep where you're at with that. And then the next like phase or progression will kind of like open up for you. Also, I wrote down this, and I just was reminded when I heard that break or that silence, ear shifting frequencies. So people here might be having ringing in the ears. I call it shifting frequencies. So it's like sometimes it's ringing, sometimes it's a high pitch, sometimes it's a low pitch, sometimes it's literally like I will feel like kind of like when you're in an airplane and you can feel like your ears like almost about to pop, but they're like shifting. But like you're not in an airplane. So if you have those experiences, or maybe you're about to have those experiences, I don't know if you hear that animal in the background. I'm not getting one specific message. I think this is just like okay, one second. A vestibular tube. So there might be someone here that's maybe feeling it a little bit intensely, and you're like I just need this to not be so intense. I'm hearing you can ask for that that balance, especially one ear. Like it was my right ear, but it could be your right or your left. Like I just felt something like really imbalanced in that when I said that. So give me a moment so I can tune in a little bit deeper. Yeah, so if you're feeling like a little bit, someone here may have tinnitus, or I'm hearing think they have tinnitus. I am not a doctor, so please do not take this as medical advice, but like there's something about practicing balance in other areas of your life and with your physical body. So whether that's through Tai Chi, yoga, whatever, ballet. I'm hearing football for someone, so maybe someone likes to like go out and throw a football around, like whatever it is that helps you like balance in. Because in football they do like those drills where they like, this is so specific, so I don't know if someone was thinking about this, but I don't know what they're called, but they like run really quickly in place on each side of their feet. So there might be something here about that, like shaking off. Okay. So yeah, just, balancing your physical body, balancing within, and, setting the intention with your aura filters or your energetic filters to receive in a more balanced way. But there was something I wanted to mention when I was talking about that football running in place drill. Give me a moment, please. I paused and I saw 171. So again, 711, 177. Those numbers feel very significant. Somatic practices. Now, there is something here about like utilizing somatic practice if you feel called to it, or maybe you already are, and I'm hearing please keep going because it's helping. I'm really being guided to tell some of these stories. Okay, I remember, again, a few years back, it was probably around the time that I actually told the story about the light coming on after my astral journey. And I remember I was laying on my floor on that same white carpety area rug that I loved, and I was like working through some, oh wow, I'm getting like so many messages right now. Hold on, I'm gonna ask to slow down the energy. Okay, I was working through God, I remember this so clearly. So my great-grandfather, I believe it was my great-grandfather on my mother's side, so any of this could be relevant of anything I say, basically. He, transitioned past when I was under 12. I don't remember the exact number, around that age or a little younger. And this is when I was like very deep in ancestral karma lineage clearing, if you will, or just like acknowledgement, and practicing all these different techniques that I had been feeling intuitively, and as well researching, studying, learning, all the different ways. And so I was having a lot of like root, if you want to call it root chakra, or the wheel of light in the base area, like just like pains and experiences. So I remember I was laying down, and it was really when I was like tuning into my own channel, and like, I guess you can say like practicing channeling. I don't even know if that's the right word anymore, but we're just going to use that for now. And so I remember I heard the word shake, like just shake. And this is before I knew about like, I know it sounds so simple, but like somatic practices that have you shake, that's like pretty common now that I see like online and stuff. But I did not know that was a thing. I just heard to shake, and I was like kind of laughing at myself, and I was like, so I'm just going to lay on this floor and shake my body like without any, rhyme or reason. Now I do it all the time. It's funny to think of myself at that time space, like seeing myself just laying there like, oh my God. Okay. So I just like started real slow, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. And of course, if like, please don't like throw your back out, like you use your own discretion with this. But yeah, so I was just like shaking and letting it all out. And I was kind of laughing at myself and just releasing emotion and going through it. And I was listening to music on YouTube, and I remember right after that, and I had not like been listening to this artist previously, like I didn't have this in my queue or anything, and the next song that came on was Shake It Off from Florence and the Machine, and I was like, it was just such a beautiful confirmation for me, and I was like, oh my God. So every time I hear that song, I always think of that. Anyway, as I was doing that, again, I kept seeing like the Four of Pentacles. Another ambulance is coming by. I kept seeing the Four of Pentacles when I was doing that, like the energy of Four of Pentacles in tarot. And like that was the root chakra energy from, again, this, oh my God, I just realized something. Give me a second. Okay. So, and the ancestor at that point who stepped forward for me was my pop-up. I called him Pop-Up Chick. Not just me, everyone called him Pop-Up Chick. His real name was not Chick, but that was like, I didn't even know he had until his funeral, actually, because I was really young. They said a name, and we were like, what? They were like, oh my God, like everyone just called him Chick so much that they didn't even realize his real name. Not everyone, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I just realized something. I wrote another thing down, and I went for a jog today for the first time in a while, and it felt so great. Speaking of root chakra stuff and getting in your body and movement, I'm also going through this energy myself. And so I saw these ducks, like I don't know the neighborhood at all where I'm at, so I just went exploring, and I found these little riverways, and there were like these ducks just started like floating by, and like they didn't look super familiar to me, the like the type of ducks they were. So to me, it was like, oh, so exciting, a new type of duck. And it was like, for me, and it was like floating by. And I realized that the dog that I'm watching at this house I'm at, the back of he has like a little sweater on. He's like a tiny white fluffy dog. He's adorable. And it says chick, and there's a little baby chick. And I'm just putting this together right now, I swear. And I wrote that down. I was like, why do ducks and chicks? And then I thought of Friends, you know how they have the chick and a duck. So Friends could be relevant. Maybe someone here's been watching Friends. But now I'm getting like the deeper message as well. Like, so a grandfather energy could be relevant. The mother lineage could be relevant. And again, that Four of Pentacles, scarcity. You know, he was a wonderful man, but he was very known for being, they called him like the penny pincher. And so, yeah, there's something about like clearing that ancestrally, that Four of Pentacles. And again, if you're not familiar with that, you can Google. There's a million things online. I just looked down at the timer and it was 36:11, so that could be relevant for someone. Okay, so yes. So somatic practices could be really, really helpful right now. Like I said, if you're not familiar, please like do your due diligence and make sure that you are, you know, if you need like a guide or something, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. You can comment. Anyway, but again, if you're already doing that, then like keep going, because it's very helpful, especially right now. Yeah, I just felt something, I'm hearing from like the root to the solar, and then I'm seeing like a passageway up through the heart. So it's like that. I'm hearing reunification. So like the lower area of the body. Excuse me. Now I'm like burping, like letting energy out of my throat, coming up through the heart. So there's like this release going on in that area, and like a reunification. So like, you know, people say mind heart coherence, which I was actually talking about in my last recorded audio, I believe. It's kind of like that, but in the lower body is, and I just felt like a pang in my heart. It was kind of painful. So you might be releasing through that area right now. But it's interesting. It's like coming through the root. So because you are, or going to be, like cellularly, like literally shaking this out, you know, whether it's metaphorically literal or both, it's like there's a opening of the heart without even trying. And then that's where this illumination comes in. So again, you'll all be in different places for this, whether it's like happening now, just happened, in the process, etc. I'm going to pause again. Before I pause, there's something about like content navigation. I'm personally going through this myself, like learning as I go. So whether it's connected to that specifically or something you want to experience, and I'm hearing like, oh God, I know this energy so well. Like it hits so close to home for me. It's like you want to do something, but you might be a little bit in that perfectionist energy. I don't know why I'm hearing Gemini, so that could be relevant for someone. The Geminis, the twins, when it's like that duality of the Gemini, you know, the lovers in tarot. It's like integrating these, like, there's so much talk right now, which is wonderful, of masculine and feminine energy, and then but it can get a little like limiting in terms of like, should I be my masculine, should I be my feminine? And now I think these labels need to be like, we need to work through them and understand them and integrate them. So you'll all be in different places, like I said, but for those of you who have been like really working through that for a while, there's something about like the seamless integration of them. And that Gemini, like evolved Gemini energy, is like the beautiful bridge between the realms. You know, they have like the two dualistic energies, the masculine, the feminine, heaven, earth, etc., like integrated within. So it's like seamless experience. It's not so much anymore of like, which one should I be in? So that's just like a specific message for maybe a few of you. Let's see. Okay, so I looked down and I went to pause again, and I saw 000 on the timer. So again, the full energy, 0 point, stepping into that newness, co-creating the newness. A few phrases: collapsing timelines, mini freakouts, Uranus, or Uranus, however you want to say it, and the number 21. So all of those things could be relevant. If you want to check your transit with Uranus, or like a birth placement in astrology, or just literally reading about the planet Uranus in any way that you feel connected. But for me, right now, what I'm getting with that is like, I'm seeing, something that I call the silver lightning that's connected to Uranus. When I was, oh my God, there's so much about this white fuzzy rug meditation spot that I used to really utilize when I had my place. So maybe someone here is like, I'm hearing energetic signature. So maybe like there's somewhere you meditate a lot, or you're thinking of like one space, like carving out a sacred space for yourself, to help like build that connection. So that could be really helpful. So one day I was tuning in, and I just kind of like, I remember I laid down and I was like, okay, what am I ready to receive? And I was shown the Arcturus and Taurus midway station. Now, when I say some of these more like galactic things, I'm honestly still working through how each of us have our own connection, right? And like, we're trying to understand how to make sense of that. And so you can look at it as something within you. I'm hearing not to go into the details too much right now, but I do plan on making content more connected to this. Anyway, so I remember I was going through this, again, cellular releasing, neural rewiring, all these things. And I was like given this tool, if you will, like an energetic tool from the Arcturus midway station. It came through for me as silver lightning, and it felt very Uranian, like it was connected to that like quick, fast movement. So like I was saying earlier, something is about to shift or move really quickly. And again, I'm feeling it really connected also to the physical body. So it's like you releasing something. And I'm hearing a lot of you say like, oh my God, how can I release any more? I get it. I go through this all the time. And I'm like, there's more. And you know what? I'm learning that it's just, we pick up stuff, especially when you're super sensitive. Even if you release, you pick up stuff along the way. There's also so much deeper connection with the earth right now. So again, that Kundalini energy is coming up if you feel very connected to earth and, other realms and systems. There's just like a physical body connection that like will pick up on some of that stuff. So just remember that it's all just a part of the experience. I know it can be really like, but the more I've like embraced it, it's actually an honor to be able to be that connected. And so just really like, I'm hearing ramping up maybe some of your, it's funny because there was a period of time where I was being guided to share like not needing to protect as much and just kind of go with the flow. And right now it feels more back to like coming into your, I think I mentioned ceremonial practices in the beginning. So it's like whatever feels good for you. And I'm hearing it doesn't have to be as like in depth maybe as it used to be. Like you're able to tune in quicker, so it doesn't, you can literally just be like walking and just take a couple breaths and like imagine that, I'm hearing like crystalline liquid light energy come in, or whatever you connect to, and just like let it be a part of your day, like a moving ritual. And maybe you're already doing this, and I'm hearing just, as you need it, tune in and allow it to move through you. And if it doesn't work right away, I'm hearing like there's something else that needs to be like integrated within it, and then it will be released. So that's what I'm hearing. Let me see, because I can feel I'm about to wrap up, but I can feel there's something else that wants to come through. I don't know why I'm hearing a lollipop. Maybe someone here has been craving a lollipop. Or Willy Wonka, right? The Lollipop Guild, that could be relevant. I think, or is that Wizard of Oz? So any of these things. just realized maybe someone here needs to delete. Remember I was talking about 86 earlier? 86 and something. So yeah, maybe there's something you need, like, not need, but it would benefit you to go through. So maybe you need to like downsize, or you could benefit from downsizing in some way, or releasing something like photos in your phone, like something you might not even really think about, like just making more space, again, in your physical body, as well as like somewhere in your electronics, or, you know, I'm hearing psychometry. So whatever like makes you feel, just, you don't have to think about it right now, but just set the intention to add that awareness. Like if you go somewhere within your life and you feel like, ooh, that feels a little bulky, or that could use some downsizing, I'm hearing just take those like mini steps to start releasing or 86ing or downsizing in that way. Yeah, because again, that quick energy, you're making space for something is coming in. Yeah, and if you've already done that, then I'm hearing great. just yeah, I'm just hearing keep showing up then. Okay, so I kept, there was something else I wrote down, and it was mini freakouts, and I noticed this within myself, like, I talked about the headaches, like collective headaches. I also feel like there's like these collective, like, it's like, I'm hearing like mini freakouts, or like mini anxiety, where like you might have like 30 seconds or a minute or a couple minutes or a few times a day where you're like, oh my God, what is happening? Ugh, like you just like kind of worry or panic. I'm hearing, don't worry, it's okay. There's something you're being asked to, like, if you haven't already done this, just acknowledge like how far you've come. Maybe like, you know, a month ago or a week ago or 7 years ago, you would have let that last like so much longer. So there's something about this experience not being, you know, so linear, and like when we can look at the cycles and like the spiral of everything and look back into how far we've come, these things may creep up, but like you've made so much progress, however you want to say that. So yeah, just that Mother Mary energy is coming through again, that like mothering feminine energy of just like nurturing yourself, compassion, doing something that really like relaxes your nervous system, the energy slowing down. And again, it's that beautiful, like, seamless, like, I don't know, dance is the word I'm hearing, of when you need that calmness, then when you need to speed up, when you need to slow down, like, you know, just really getting to know yourself in that way. And again, if you're already doing this, then just reminding yourself of these things could be really helpful. I'm also just being reminded of something, like I saw like a version or an aspect of myself not too long ago through a photo. It wasn't of me, it was like of a recent place I'd been. And sometimes when we can't quite see what's going on energetically, but we can feel it, or we can see it psychically, but like nothing seems to be appearing around us. This is just like a small reminder of like I'm sitting right now somewhere where like I had been like daydreaming about for a while, that like vibe, like I'm surrounded by palm trees, and this is not all to say like, ooh, look where I am, not at all. Like I was, there's just something about like, if you're, this is not for everyone, but if you're, yeah, do you hear that like air conditioner thing just went on? Like if you're in that space, like, and I've heard this so many times myself, and I know how frustrating it can be, but like, please don't give up, because wherever you are, there's a reason for it, and it will be different for all of you. And again, this is not for everyone, but yeah, if you're just feeling like there's something in your life that feels like it's just like, oh, it's not moving, or like I feel like I'm doing everything I can, I'm hearing just try your best to embrace where you are, and you might already be doing that, and I'm hearing just keep going, because again, that Uranus energy, like something is coming in. Okay, this is also, I'm hearing subtext and like context, so that could be for someone in terms of like, maybe there's something you need to look a little bit closer at, like the subtext of something. But I know this can feel a bit confusing, but for someone or a few people who may feel connected to this next message, it's kind of connected to that. It's like for a while when we're really tuned in to our own channel and, you know, developing our more like extra sensory perceptions, it's like we're into the, you know, the modes of learning divination tools or different ways of prediction and reading energy, etc. And it's like, if you're listening to this, there's a shift right now, and so it's totally natural. This is just a part of like learning and experience, and honestly it's like an up level in some way. It's like you're integrating those experiences, and now it's not so much, and again, this is very specific, so only take it if it's for you. So you notice how the energy just like sped up again? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's like if you've been kind of in that like practicing predictions or like energetic, like what's going to happen and reading energy and like psychic stuff, I'm hearing right now is a call to actually just embrace where you are and let the integration weave within you. And then there will be like another, oh, interesting. I just looked down. I felt something tickling my left, kind of like where your shoulder and your clavicle meet, a little bit lower. And it was a hair, which I did not feel it until that moment. So sometimes when we have like, I'm hearing like a strand of energy, there's just like, you know, when someone says like, oh, I just have one hair out of place, it's like there's just this like one like thread that is still being worked through. Anyway, again, another side message. There's a lot of like little messages within messages. So I'm also seeing someone do like a fortune, like those, like when we were kids, if you're from my generation, or I guess I'm considered a millennial, I think, where they do like the like fortune teller. It was like you made a paper, I forget what it's called. If someone remembers, please share it. Where you would like fold paper like a fortune and then like play like house, mansion, kids, car. I forget what it's called. I don't know why that just came in, but anyway, yeah, exactly, like fortune telling. So it's not like I'm saying to stop doing that, but there's something about like, instead of trying to predict right now so much, it's like integrate what you've experienced or what you've learned, and like sit with the stillness and see what comes through, because it's like there's like a next unveiling. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I'm getting now. So if you got this far, thank you for listening. Feel free again to share anything below. And yeah, I just looked down and saw again 00. So oh my god, excuse me. So when I burp also, and you hear the ambulance again, I started with the ambulance and now it's ending on an ambulance. Burp for me is a release, so yeah, there's definitely a release coming soon. Or it just happened, or there's going to be like multiple mini releases I'm hearing. Okay, yes, I'm officially done. Thank you.